All right, peace, Ali. I'm pretty sure I'm in the building. Nine's up in the chat box if you can hear me and see me okay. Get the confirmation. Appreciate everybody for joining in live. If you're watching live, you're watching in the replay. Appreciate you for tuning in as well. Should I go ahead and get it in? It's a slight delay when you do this thing live. All right, peace to the gods. Welcome everyone. At first, got a shout out my brother Chris and Lighten in the chat. You got to say happy born day to the God. Disclose his age, but he's 40 something. So definitely say what up to the God in the chat box. And appreciate everybody for tuning in. We're going to get it in today. I have about 40 minutes, so it's not going to be too long. Off this broadcast, like all the broadcasts, are brought to you by l9shop.com, el9shop.com. Donations or anything like that, but the shop is a metaphysical store. So if you're needing crystals, sage, ancestor money, altar supplies, that's why I send everybody. If you want to support me and my workings, that's the best thing you can do. l9shop.com. Somebody can put that in the chat. I appreciate it. So the way this thing works, because we usually have mad people on and stuff, it'd be like a lot of questions or whatever. So what I do is lay out the information. Once I'm done with that, I'll give you a chance to ask any questions pertaining to the subject matter. Today, we're talking about the metaphysics of Halloween. So any questions that you have pertaining to that, we have a little time at the end. I'll be more than happy to address it. So as long as I'm still being heard, go ahead and get it in. Peace, everybody. Want to shout out some names. Rob Cole, what's up, G? Alexis, IE is me. Proton B, Latoya Anderson, Peace Queen. Sleepy Hollow, Spirit Driven, Desperately Seeking Susan. Hey, what's up? I know you always come in like I missed it live, so I'm glad you came live. Caesar, what's up, bro? Nicole. And everybody that I didn't mention their names, you know, be mad people. I can't read everybody's name. But let's go ahead and get it in. I have a few notes to make sure things pop well or whatever to keep this thing cohesive. Like I said, I want to talk about the metaphysics of Halloween. Let's start out like this. Especially like with melanated people, we always look and be like, man, the history, they took our story from us, they rewrote it and all these things. And we always look at things like, should be. The way it's going on now, this isn't the way it should be. Ancient roots or whatever. So what I want to do in this broadcast, I want to give you a brief, and I mean brief, his story or her story about Halloween, the metaphysics and the esoteric nature of Halloween. Then more importantly, I want to end it by what you can do as far as this energy, the Halloween energy, holiday, whatever you want to call it. There are things you can do to harness the power. So anybody that follows me, you know I'm big on what can we do to empower ourselves. We're not going to be empowered by pointing and saying, look what they're doing from us. We already know that, man. It's in the history books. We ain't got to go deep on that. That's at this point, it's not debatable. Who came on this land, took things from other people, perversed it, and made it their own. That's not a theory, that's fact. History, you'll know that. But we have to get to the point where we start to flip the script. And that's where we're at now. So that's what I want to get into. So first off, before Halloween, there was a thing called Samhain. Samhain, Samhain. There's a lot of activity in the chat box. If you have any questions, I want to wait till the end of the presentation or lecture, if you would, then you can ask any questions. More than likely, I'm not going to see if you're addressing something to me now. So before Halloween, there was a thing called Samhain. You can look this up. Samhain. Somebody type that in the chat as well. Let me go a little bit further. When you look at all the holy days that we're presented with in the West, mainly Christmas and Halloween, they were taken from previous things. When the Christians came about, there were already festivals, there were already things going about. So what the Christians did was they put their own spin on it and made it a Christian holy day. Briefly put, Like with Christmas, you have what's called Saturnalia. This is something you can look up. Saturnalia, Saturn, then Alia. So Saturnalia. Saturnalia was a time where peasants, slaves, slave owners, people, officials, government, they all came together and they did some sort of role reversal where the slaves and the lower class people would dress up and act as the higher class people and vice versa. They gave gifts away. And, you know, I mean, it's not much of a secret, but it was a lot of homosexuality, a lot of perverse sexual there was a lot of things going on, but it was a festival and it was called Saturnalia. When the Christians came about, they took that festival that was already going on. Imagine a people that are telling a group of people that we're going to do things a different way, rewrite things and just switch it. You have to incorporate what they're already doing. So when Christmas came about, they took the things that were already going on with Saturnalia, Christian holy day, and now we have Christmas. Gifts exchanged during Christmas was based on a festival called Saturnalia. So when we look at Halloween, Halloween is the same thing. I brought up Christmas because Halloween is the same part. Samhain. During the Samhain, I believe it was the Celtics, if I'm not mistaken. They considered this a time where the veil was thin, meaning that it was easier to access the spirit realm. So during these festivals called Samhain, they did a lot of divination. They're getting communication from the unseen or the most high. What they used to do was they'll hold bonfires and hold different divinations, and they would communicate with deceased loved ones. They called it Samhain, and it was pointed towards the thin and the veil because it's kind of halfway between the equinox, the solstice. So that's the reason why they thought that it was a lot easier to access the spirit realm during that time. So when you had the Christians came about, once again, the festivals were already going on, same as Saturnalia. So Samhain was already going on when the Christians were establishing their wood. So what they did was they incorporated certain things that were going on with Samhain, but they wanted to pay homage to their saints. It was called Hallows Eve or whatever, and it's called All Saints Day. October 31st, which is the date for Halloween, or what the Christians consider All Saints Day. In All Saints Day, saints, those are considered the holy men in Christianity or whatever. So during that time, it was a way to pay homage to the holy people or whatever. So what they did was they take it from paying homage to the ancestors and departed loved ones to paying homage to holy men. That is very important. So what they did was take the people that were already celebrating is their attention on Christian people or whatever. So once again, when you have Christians that are taking over and creating their dominance, they're going to start to do things, but they're going to take what's already being done. The word Halloween, let's break this down. I don't think I've ever heard anybody break down Halloween. Halloween is two words, hollow and wing. Actually means halo or holy person or whatever. And wing means the knowing or acknowledging. Halloween together, not taking it from conspiracy or anything like that. We're just looking at strictly etymology. Halloween means knowing the saints or become connecting to the saints or whatever. So when you look at what are we doing well, nowadays, we're connecting with the holy part of ourselves, but we also have this thing called ancestor veneration. Most people that follow me know I'm big on ancestor work. So in Samhain, they were connected to the deceased loved ones. In All Saints Day, they're connected to the holy men. And when you look at the word Halloween, once again, it means to the divinity, to know holiness, to know, let me see, I think I have it written down. Holy, or to think like a saint or whatever. And then if you look at hollow, empty. And that's very significant too, because when you see a deceased loved one, what are they? If you see an apparition, is it full? Does it have flesh or bones? No, it's empty. So alluding to that you're paying attention to a spiritual aspect of reality as opposed to physicality. That's very important. So let's get into these dates. We touch on a brief of the history. Once again, you can look that up on Wikipedia or put in the history of Halloween. I don't want to go there. I want to put some metaphysics to it, some occult wisdom to it. So when you look at Halloween, it's always in October. What month is October? It's the 10th month of our calendar. September is 9, October is 10th, November is 11. But October is the 10th month. 1 and 0. When you look at numbers, you can always put a 0 before any number. 999, still 999. The number 88, you can put a 0 in front of it, it's still 88. So when you look at 10, look at it as 0, 1, and 0. And when you look at that, what are 0, 1s, and 0s? Binary code. You're talking about the binary language. You're talking about computer language. Computer speaks in 1s and 0. 1 is a physical manifestation because that's the first thing you can see. 0 is the unseen. You cannot see 0. From unseen to seen. Unseen to seen. 0s and 1s. And manifestation. So it's a reason why October or Halloween is always in October, because you're dealing with the physical and you're dealing with the spiritual. And even if you want to take October from its real root meaning, because Oct means 8, 9. So we know that they added a couple months, or they pushed everything 2 months over. So even we look at October in its original numerical vibration of 8, that deals with the deceased. When you're dealing with scorpion energy, you're dealing with the underworld, the unseen. It deals with death. And it deals with holistic, meaning the physical and the spiritual coming together. When you look at the number 8, you can look at it as spiritual on top and a physical on the bottom. And it goes around in infinity. Infinity, you have to die and be reborn. As you incarnate on earth, you die, get reborn. Die, get reborn. 1 and 0, or the number 8. Get why Halloween is in October. Then when you look at the number 31, Halloween is always on October 31st. We're very aware of 13, a negative number. We just have Friday the 13th. Shout out to Friday the 13th. But 13th in Western world is considered an unlucky number. And there's a couple reasons off the top of the dome that I know why they consider 13 to be a negative number. Years back, there was a lot of different stories. So it's one of those things where you can't for sure finger point and be like, that's the reason why 13 is considered negative. A couple of things to throw a little bit out there. And somebody can put some in the chat if they want to. Look at a woman's cycle. A woman, even though we have 12 months in a year, and shout out to the feminine energy, females have 13 cycles throughout the year. So they'll have 1 month where they may have their cycle twice in that month or whatever. So the average female has 13 menstrual cycles during a year. So that's one of the reasons why 13 was considered negative. Also, if you know anything about astrology, there's a popular thing called 13 signs astrology. 13 sign being a ficus or something like that is the name. And once they started to reverse that science, they're unlucky because the 13th sign as well. There are a couple of reasons why they consider 13 to be a somewhat of a negative number or unlucky number. So October 31st, 1-3, the opposite of 13 is 3-1. So a 13 is considered unlucky. I'm just going along with the theory. If 13 is considered unlucky, then 31 could be considered lucky, because you're dealing with the polar opposite. 13, the opposite of 13 is 31. But what's most important are the numbers are involved in this. You're dealing with a 3, a 1 makes up a 4. So you're dealing with a 3. What is 3? 3 represents the child and it represents expressing yourself. What is one? One represents independence, and it also, going back to the ones and zero, it deals with manifestation. What's number four? Four is the most insatiable number there is because four is ruled by Rahu. Very weird number. So when you put 3, 1, and 4 together, vibration, why on costumes and dress up as weird things? Because you're not scared of. Why are children all year long, they're scared of boogeyman in the closet, they're scared to look under the bed, they're scared of scary movies, but automatically on Halloween, they're not scared anymore. They can dress up as zombies. We can go out in neighborhoods where everybody's dressed up as something scary, and we know it's an act because those numbers are putting you in position to kind of express yourself in a weird way behind it or whatever. And when you look at a mask, look at the word personality. The word personality, word persona. Persona means mask. Halloween, people are putting on a mask or a persona. The deeper science of this is normally will dress up and act on what they're doing on a subconscious level. This is very deep right here. Let me give an example. Or say you had tendencies to murder people. Say you're a regular person, you go about your day, you went to school, you have a regular job, you have a family, all these things. But in the back of your mind, you've always had a tendency to kill things. You've hurt animals. You torture little animals. You take pleasure on cutting up meat and butchering things like that. Side note, a lot of butchers, same kind of mentality. It's a way for them to legally things. Same with dentists, doctors, and stuff like that. People that are doing surgery, they have a tendency to cut up things and they have no problem seeing blood. For my astrologers, you can find indicators of people that are prone to this. If you look at where Mars is sitting, where the 8th house and stuff like that, there's things you can see why people are. So dentists, doctors, butchers, they're prone to nurses, stuff like people like that. They're prone to see blood or whatever, you know? So using my example, say you are a person, a regular person, but you have some sort of mentality where you like to kill things. Now you have a holiday or holy day where you can dress up as something that may be deep into your subconscious mind. You feel me? Same with a female. Say a female is very ladylike. She grew up in a Christian home. She's very ladylike. She calls her legs. She says please and thank you and all that good stuff. But say on a deep in her subconscious, say she wanted to be a bop. Say she wanted to be like a cosmic whore or something. Say that she wanted to sleep with a bunch of men, with 5 men in one day. She may dress up as a prostitute or may dress up a little slutty or something like that. My point is, it gives you a chance to play out a persona or play out a sort of a personality that may not be acceptable, taboo every other day of the year, but during Halloween, you can be whoever you are. Science why people dress up in costumes or whatever. So I wanted to throw that out there as well. So you're being what you subconsciously want to be. Putting all this together, we know that the ancients in the Irish ancients and some other cultures, they pay homage to the ancestors. We know that the Christians started to put it where you focus on more of the holy men. That's why you have Halloween right before All Saints Day. Another side note, All Saints Day is always on November the 1st. So that's the 1st of November, 11. So month. So you go from the 10 to 11, simply put, you're talking about a transition, and that takes you to Christmas. Like Halloween is in October, Thanksgiving is in November, and Christmas in December. Why it's like that. On a business standpoint, there's a science because you're talking about companies going into the Black Monday or all these sales. When you look at business, the black means you're profiting the money. So all businesses want to be in the black. That's why they give you Black Friday. That's why Christmas is at the end of the year where businesses are dealing with their fiscal year. You're talking about the fourth quarter discussion in itself. So I want to give y'all some things that you can do. Instead of focusing on celebrating Halloween, we shouldn't be dressing up and all this dumb stuff or whatever. Focus on what you can do. What I recommend is that you connect with your ancestors in a glorious way during this time. The easiest way, obviously, is the ancestor altar. That information. I have so much free videos on YouTube talking about how to deal with the ancestor altar, from putting it up, from what to put on it, to saying prayers, to offerings, all that good stuff. It can be found on my YouTube channel. So go there if you want to know how to set up an ancestor altar. But if you already have your altar, I'm going to give you a couple recommendations for things you can do. So that we're supposed to pay homage to the ancestors, especially during this time where the veil is thinning, where we have easier access to the ancestors, that they're able to receive the food offerings, to receive the money, receive our prayers a lot easier during this time. So that's one thing we want to do. Also, because the ancient Celts and the ancestors during this time, I recommend that you safely communicate with your ancestors. So I'm going to give you a couple techniques for that. I'm dealing with the food offerings. If your normal food offering is just whatever you eat, I implore you to step it up during this time. So at the end of October, or right now, or up until November the 1st, give a little bit more food. If you're used to giving just whatever you eat, go out of your way and make something special for the ancestors, and let them know. When you go to your altar, be like, this is a special offering that I want to give you for this time. Even if you don't feel like celestial, divine going on, it's not going to be bad to give your ancestors more food offering. So that's the first thing I suggest. And as far as communicating with the ancestors, a couple safe things you can do. I know a lot of people are spooked by seeing ghosts or communicating with deceased loved ones. But if you're moved, I want to give you a couple safe things you can do. First thing you can do is you can light a white candle. It works best at your altar, but you can light a white candle. Make sure the room is dark, light a white candle, and speak directly into the flame of the candle. Spend about 5 minutes, do some deep breaths, staring at the flicker of the candle, and then start to speak in the candle as you're speaking to a loved one. Let me give you an example. Speak to my deceased grandmother, peace and blessing be upon her. Put a white candle, or another color if you're not moved for white, if you want to use a black or pink, whatever. But use a white candle or candle, put it on the altar, for seeing your grandmother in the flame or deceased loved one, and speak into that flame. You're going to notice two things. You're going to either notice that the flame is going to start to flicker from away, or you're going to see the flame change colors. Third thing, you may get a lot of psychic impression depending on how in tune you are. One technique that you can do. Another technique you can do is what is called dream incubation. This is something I've been speaking about a lot. There's a lot of things you can do with dream incubation. So if you want to speak to a deceased loved one, you can do what's called dream incubation. This is to be done transition to sleep. And I use the words transition to sleep, falling asleep. Because incubation, you want to transition to sleep with a purpose, with a goal in mind. Our goal is to communicate to a deceased loved one. So I'm going to run through an example. In my bed right before sleep. Closed. So I'm going to picture in my mind's eye, in my first eye, the deceased loved one that I want to speak with. If I don't know a specific one, then I'm just going to picture an ancestor in my mind, or picture the word ancestor in my mind. All I'm going to do is focus on the person's image. In my case, is my deceased grandmother. So I'm going to focus on her image. And I want that to be the last thing I think about as I fall asleep. My deceased loved one, I transition to sleep. What's going to happen is you're going to have a dream where that ancestor come and speak to you. Depending on how you recall your dreams, depending on how adept you are in the dream world, it may even take you more than once. This too. When we do spiritual things, guess what? You may have to do it more than once. You didn't brush your teeth or wash your funky butt once this month. More than likely, you did it every day. Is no different. If it don't work the first night, guess what? Try it the second night. I'm sick of hearing people saying, you know, brother, I tried. How many times did you try? Once, or a month, or 3 months? It's not good enough. Some things you have to try once every day for a year, or whatever. So if you do this and it doesn't work for you, shocker, try the next night. With enough focus and dedication, by the third night, you will have something pop off. So that's what I recommend for that. So dream incubation, and they'll speak to it directly, and also give a bigger offering to your ancestors. And once again, if you don't have any altar supplies, and especially ancestor money, L9shop.com, EL9shop.com. It's at this point now, I've been saying this, the ancestor money is a business within itself. So many people are finding out about me, ancestor money, and they're having their own experience. And what I always suggest to people is, put your altar up, give an offering, and then see what happens for yourself. 30 days, you will notice something. Either a dream, sign, synchronicity, vision, something will happen to let you know that your ancestors are listening to you. So L9shop.com, you can find all your altar supplies. If you have an ancestor altar, I suggest that you step it up, put some ancestor money on there. Ancestor money. So that's pretty much it. Couple quick announcements. Make sure to thumbs up the video if you appreciate the information, if this resonates with you. The video, I forgot to say that. Subscribe to the channel. We have about 15,000 subscribers now, so definitely appreciate all the love on that. Hit subscribe if you want to do that. Couple announcements as far as events. Retreat, not going to spend a bunch of time promoting it. It is what it is, and whoever comes is who's supposed to come. But we do have 2 private rooms remaining. After those private rooms, I'm not going to have any more. Every year I have people be like, man, I missed it out. I missed out again. If you have missed out the first 2 years, you seen last year we had a bear. You know what I'm saying? Go back to the video. We got a real live bear right on our front step. We got on video or whatever. Year before that, we had rain come over our cabin out in the patio. After we got finished, the rain stopped. It only rained on our cabin. There was no rain in the forecast whatsoever. The people that have rocked with me, that's going to the mound, shout out to the Cincinnati family, Milltown family, that's going to the mound with me. People that have gone to the retreat. We've had spiritual experiences. Leave unless you were there. Say you can't make rain. We've done it multiple times. Not only at the first retreat, at the Miamisburg Mound, I got a couple people in the chat that were there. It rained all day. Soon when we get to our mound, it stopped raining. We did our ritual, we did our meditation, we did our offering. Soon when we get done, we go down from the mound, get in a whip, it start raining again all day. So it rains all day except for the time we're at the mound. These are the things that happen once you connect with spiritual people and you're putting in spiritual work. Pick it up. There's other people that can validate it, but if you don't know what I'm talking about, it sounds kind of weird. Spiritual retreat, 2 rooms remaining, 2 general selections remaining. I implore you to put your deposit down if you're interested. SLEMyers.com. Click on classes and retreat. You can find out the information for that. Last announcement. Mastery Accelerator Program. That is my flagship program. If you go into my YouTube channel, you'll see a couple of lessons from our modules. We have ongoing modules. We have 3 live webcasts. So much things going on in that program. For the fee that I'm charging for that program, you can't beat it. The way I put it is, to work with me one-on-one, I charge $200 per hour. That program is a way for you to work with me and also get the support of the other members. Get guidance, you can get tutelage, you can get teaching, you can get all that stuff, but you can have somebody there to support you. I'm in our community Sangha every day. We have activity, we got people asking questions, we got people helping each other. It's a beautiful thing, but you must invest. I was specifically told not to make this free. It's very affordable, but you have to invest, because if you don't invest and if you just get in there or whatever, more than likely you ain't gonna do anything. So make sure you invest in that program. I can assure you it's one of the best things you can do. Oh yeah, one more announcement. Video is coming back this Sunday, but more than likely next Sunday. So follow me on Facebook, salymyers.com or salymyers. Email list at salymyers.com, and you'll be aware of everything about that. But we're coming back for sure in a big way. So let me go to the chat. Appreciate everybody for coming through. Remember to hit the thumbs up. And if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to address it right now. I got less than 10 minutes for real, for real. Yeah, Chris Enlighten, he's a shining star in the accelerator program. I got help with my website. I got help with my products. My PayPal is growing, all because of the Master Accelerator program. Appreciate that, bro. Spiritualaccelerator.com. Jazzy B, another star in the program. Love the Master Accelerator program. Yep, and Chris, he was there at the mountain in the spiritual retreat. He bear witness to the rain. Rob G. Kodas in the chat box, he was there where it rained on the mound. And when we got there, it stopped raining. When we left, it started raining again. Peace, Nicole. Peace, Red Queen. I remember when I was little, I wanted to be a dead bride. Then don't know what that was all about. I was a boy, but I was also a tomboy. So that makes sense. I wanted to be a boy so bad. Yep. That's what I'm saying. If you go back and look into what you dressed up as a child, going on, man, you'd be like, okay, why was I wanting to put on a persona of that particular energy? It's subconscious motives. You have to know that subconscious runs everything, yo. It runs everything. Our children, as far as what? Yo, peace, Mira, from Denver. Appreciate that. Peace. What can we do as far as our children? My children, they go out, trick or treating. Halloween or holy days, I should say, but my children go out trick or treating. Like, what kid doesn't like to go trick or treating? I went trick or treating. Yeah, but if you don't want your children to go trick or treating, then that's your choice. When I got into spirituality, what the spirit told me was to not endorse how things are presented, but kind of put your own spin to it. So instead of Christmas, we say winter solstice. So my children be like, I want this for solstice or whatever. You know what I mean? For Halloween, we don't tell them nothing. They want candy or whatever. They want to dress up and they want candy. For Thanksgiving, like, we don't say nothing about turkeys and pilgrims and stuff like that. Like, just taking the traditions. I'm not a traditionalist. Plus, I've researched enough to know that most of the holy days, they're rooted in conspiracy, and they're rooted in just a lot of things that really aren't, quote unquote, of love and light, as we like to say, or whatever. So I really don't endorse the holy days in America. I think they're all perverted and perverse, to be honest. At the same token, I always say this, I grew up in a public schools. I grew up in the hood. I went to church at a young age. I got vaccinated or whatever. I drank fluoride water. I grew up on chitlins, pork, and all that stuff or whatever. Or whatever. Aware, enlightened, conscious, but still subjected to a lot of things that we know aren't, quote unquote, good or whatever. You might have had messed up parenting too, but you still came out of it. You have to know your children. Like, I know who my children are or whatever. They're very impressionable, but they're also very free-minded. They're very independent-minded. And so I had to talk to them, but me personally, I don't see not giving my children gifts on winter solstice just because I'm be like, oh man, that holiday's wrong and stuff like that. They don't believe in Santa. They don't believe in none of that crap or whatever. I don't lie to my children, But Sarah said I didn't get gifts and stuff like that. I'd be lying, you know what I mean? long as you don't put them in, this is Jesus' birthday and Santa's coming through the chimney and stuff like that, that's where the mind programming comes in. You start to not trust your parents because they lied to you. Even on a subconscious level, we're lying to our children saying the tooth fairy did that, Santa Claus is that, this is Jesus' birthday. They're still white lies. Even if they're not huge lies, they're still lies. Children that on a subconscious level, you're put into a liar box. You know what I mean? May not be that detrimental, but still, it's a small thing. But I'm big on not telling people how to raise their children and telling people not what to eat and stuff like that. So I'm just sharing, you know, what I do or whatever. Problem. Yeah, honestly, in the hood, once you got older, shoot, you just put a mask on. And shoot, you get a little bit older, you just went out, you know, be as whatever. It didn't really matter. So I don't see any questions. So I'm willing that this information resonated with y'all. Like I said, make sure to honor the ancestors, man. That's what, if I have one message, that's my message. Foolery. Don't worry about they shouldn't be doing that. We shouldn't be dressing up. Candy's bad for you, all that stuff, whatever. People don't do whatever the hell they want to do. I mean, it's just focus on the ancestors. Step up your altar game. Really connect with the ancients, with your divine linkage or whatever. So that's what I represent. Okay, I do see a quick question. It's Margaret from Trinidad. Peace, Renee. Hey, what up, Renee? How you doing? Okay, man, you already know my G. Hey, what's up, Veda? Another accelerator programmer. Yeah, the pillowcase was huge, yo. All right, I feel like I have kind of reached a point where it seems like I'm not growing anymore or getting more powerful. What does that mean? How do I fix this? It's not related to the subject matter, but you're more than likely hit a plateau. You either have to switch up your regimen or go deeper. So if you're meditating for 30 minutes, try meditating for 35 minutes. Just switch it up. Just switch it up. If you're doing a ritual 3 days a week, then do a ritual 4 days a week. So either step it up more or switch it up a little bit. But more than likely, you hit a plateau. Plateaus, you're going to hit plateaus. I've hit many plateaus on my personal path. Thank you for all you have done. I came across your video and helped me a lot. Thanks for it. Okay, you're welcome. I am great. I don't lie to them. Yeah, I don't lie to them either. Some religion talks about bad. Religions talk about how bad a holy day is, but they took the holy day and made it their own. You know what I'm saying? Are considered by some angels on earth. When you look at deers, they're very elegant and graceful. They're a lot to the angelic realm for significance. And this thing going by, I'm losing my spot. That Tamana Ali Bay, beautiful name. What do I give my ancestors besides food? Any articles of clothing that they had, you can give them wine, beer. I recommend vices, so pipe, tobaccos if you're moved to. Food, you can give jewelry. You can burn ancestor money. Give them anything. The rule of thumb is, and this is what I follow, once you give an offering, then it becomes theirs, either to the ancestors or the deity. So once I give something, it's theirs. Yeah, they put a spin on every. Hey, what's up, Seneca? Another accelerator member. What's up, sweetheart? Hey, Danielle, what's up? How you doing? Yeah, the veil thinner. So that's the main thing, yo. The veil you connecting with. You know, I said the ancestor, but you can take this to the deities as well. I personally believe that the spirit world listens to us a little bit more. You know, that's my opinion. Can I validate that and prove that to you? No. You know, dreams that take a whole different complexion. During this month of October, I've been definitely moved to switch up my diet. Done probably 3 juice fasts this year so far. Quit the sugary snacks like chocolate and stuff during the week. I only eat snacks during the weekend. Started a meat-free Monday. So I'm not saying vegetarian or anything like that, because that just creates more divisiveness. And I think we're divisive as people already. We don't need to be divisive with. We're divisive as far as color, nationality, sexual orientation, political affiliation, religious. Then you got economic class and stuff like that. We don't need to be divisive with, you eat meat, I don't eat meat. You know what I mean? It's just dumb in my opinion. You'll never see me arguing over food. That's dumb. Welcome, no problem. What I do with the ashes from ancestor money, I got a video for that. I just throw it away. The way some people bury it. You're welcome. You're welcome to thank me anymore. I appreciate it. Hitting a thumbs up or purchasing something from l9shop.com. Or whatever, but just thumbs up, share the video, or purchase something, or you know what I mean, support my workings. That's honestly the best way of thinking. You're here, so I know you appreciate the information. You wouldn't be here. I'll just finish a month with no meats. I cut out sweets, but I think I spent too much time thinking about what I was going to eat, then participating in practice that I was doing before. That's real. All right, y'all. I'm gotta run. Appreciate everybody. This is the least questions either, so I don't know. I don't know what that means, but usually I got mad questions. So peace, everybody. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Until next time, peace.